and we're gonna paste it underneath. All right, we're gonna modify that to call that the NAND gate equivalent. And we need to make a couple of changes to make sure that the inputs and the outputs are different. And so, first of all, let's see if we can change the instructions. All right, we don't have a choice. All right, you'll need your laptop, Zach, or one of our laptops here to get on programming. And so we don't have a choice to change. I remember having the opportunity to change instruction, but this one is not giving us a choice. And so if that's the case, that means we're gonna have to set up new instructions here. So you're gonna bring the toolbox on your right-hand side or whatever that might be. And that's where the instructions are located. And you need some examine if open contacts or reverse contacts. So reverse contacts. And we're gonna use the other, we already have using 0 and 1, we're gonna use 2, address 2. We're gonna get rid of this because they're not good. I thought we could use that, but so we're gonna add another contact of the same type. And we're gonna call that input 3. We're gonna label that in a little bit. Okay. Then we're gonna, here we could do an easy change on this one. But you're gonna click right there, and we're gonna use the next output, digital output 0 or 1, right? So we have modified our first rung to make it for the NAND gate. Okay, and so the only thing remaining is I'm gonna label these, I'm gonna label them all actually because we need a label on those. All right, so that's gonna be called NAND out or NAND output. So that's the output for the NAND. These other guys are actually the NAND inputs 1 and input 2. So I'm gonna label them 2 back on the IO. And since I'm using a different input, this is gonna be called NAND input 1. Okay, that. And then this is gonna be labeled NAND input 2. So labels are good. That way the operators and technicians can see where and what the devices are doing.
So when you copied the first round down
Yeah.
to the second round,
Yes.
How did you change the normally open?
Yeah, so I couldn't change them. I didn't have a choice. So you open up the toolbox. If it's not visible to you, you search for it under tools or under view actually. Yeah, under view is what it is. You bring that toolbox, Control Alt X, and that's where the library of instructions is. And I just, drag and drop, right? I normally close sometimes you can replace instructions, but it didn't let us do this in this case.
Okay, so then you had to rename them.
Yeah, I basically, yeah. And so with the output, I basically, if you click on the address, it'll give you a choice to immediately change the address, right? So you can do that change there. I didn't have to bring a new output, right? Okay, so I'm gonna download this program, hopefully build it. Doing okay, Zach? Get in? Okay. Let us know. I'm gonna stop here for a little bit to get you catch up with what we're doing. All right, so It's not working? Usual? Okay. Oh, download. So downloading the second little program, the NAND gate, complement gate. Okay, let's run it. And so if you recall part of our theory, we talked about the logic gates, which you should have clear, right? The AND gate will go through whenever all of the inputs are true. That's the AND gate acting. The NAND gate will do the opposite, right? The NAND gate will be true whenever the inputs are false, right? Because it does invert. And when any of the inputs is inverted, it's going to go false. Or when both of them are inverted, it's going to go false. So there we have both the AND gate and the NAND gate equivalent logic functions on ladder logic. I'm going to leave you a couple of minutes to catch up. Everybody be on the same page before we move on with the next one. But you should have, hopefully, that tested. If not, raise your hand. We can come around and help you. So all you will be missing from these guys is basically hooking up the IOs, right, to the controller. And this will be the instructions for that controller to run that operation. Yes, sir.
Can you scroll up, just pull it back up so I can know the simulator, just so I can see the output on it?
Yeah, so it's running. First gate, input A, input B, output 0 is on.
Oh, okay, so you changed your output of.
You don't change, yeah, your output is conditioned to 1, the inputs, and 2, the instructions that you have, right, on your program. So this AND function says that in order for this output to be true, both of these inputs have to be true, right? And that's what we got here.
So is the output for the closed ones, are they they're to 01, output 1?
So yeah, so that's a different output, right? We want to have a different output. Otherwise, you'll be confused with the same output, right? Yeah. So you need to have a different output, such as in this case, I'm using digital output 1. And that's the complete opposite function, logic function of the first one, right? It's an AND gate. It'll do exactly everything opposite to the AND gate. Good question, though. One that needs to be addressed, so. Zach, did you get that handout last time you were here? Zach one, you got it? Yeah, but we're using basically that. I'm just replicating what I gave you in that handout. All right, couple more minutes and then we'll move on to the next logic gate. What is not happening? Okay, and it's taking too long. I mean, more than 1 minute is probably a little too much. I usually don't take more than 1 minute. Oh, there's no program. Okay, there it is. Okay. Uh-huh. If you feel confident, move on with the OR gate and the NOR gate, which is also there on the handout, right on the same page, same front page. The idea here with the simulation is we want to use completely different aisles for all runs, right? That way we'll know for sure we're testing.
You want us to do the OR gate?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
In the same ladder?
In the same ladder, yep. Yeah. Just use different aisles, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the same for the NOR gate.
Okay.
Different aisles.
How did you add the green like comment on here?
Okay, so you just click on top of the run and start typing.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I think we're right there.
Yeah, because I forgot to,
Oh, okay.
this is a good one. Because that, Andy, you need to know both turn on, to get the output from, control on from the output.
Okay, I'm gonna go on and do the OR with you guys, or in NOR. So this time I'm gonna take advantage of what I already have, and I'm gonna just copy and paste those rungs. So I'm gonna copy and paste this first run. Copy, I'm gonna paste it underneath. Oh, if I disconnect myself, I can do that. Copy and paste underneath. I copy run 1. Okay. So this is what I need to copy. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I copied the right one. Just there we go. So here I have just copied that over, but the OR gate it's the OR gate. So I need to add a branch in here to modify that up. Branch. So I'm going to add a branch right here. Where did my branch go? Okay, and I'm going to move that input in the branch because that's what I want, right? And now I'm gonna just change the IOs. So I am gonna say that this is the OR gate equivalent. And I'm gonna use different IOs because we wanna keep that sequence. So I'm gonna use IO input 4 and input 5 for my OR gate. And I'm going to use output 2. All right, so I have just completely modified that rung. I am going to label this just like you guys have been doing. Digital output 2 is going to be called for me OR output. That's OR output. And I'm going to modify these labels too and call them. So that's input 4. I'm going to call, oops. If you click too many times, it'll take you back to where you were. So that's what I did. So OR input 1. And I'm going to call this OR input 2. All right, so we got our OR gate. I'm going to check it out by downloading this to the controller. If everything is right, everything should be right. Just make sure that when you test your project, you have your controller in run mode. It's a preferred mode of operation. So I'm going to place my controller to run mode here. And I have designated input 4 and 5 to be the inputs of the OR gate. So 4 or 5 will enable the OR output, or both, right? That's a truth table. So whenever any of the inputs is true, the output will be true for the OR gate. All right, so we've tested the OR gate. Back to program mode. Back to this connection. And we're gonna work out the NOR gate. For that, I'm gonna copy the second rung. I mean, I could either copy the second or the third. I'm gonna copy the second rung. Paste it underneath. Okay. And it went up, so let me move it down here. Okay, so this is gonna be the NOR gate equivalent in ladder logic. And I will need a branch, right? I need a branch. I'm gonna place that branch over here. And I'm gonna move over my IOs. And of course, I need to use different IO labels or addresses, right? So I'm going to use 6 and 7 for my inputs in here. So I can just simply go here to the menu and change that. So IO 6, IO 7, or input 7. And then my output is going to be 3. Right? And now I can label these things again. NOR output. NOR out. Okay, that's my NOR out. I'm going to label this NOR input 1. NOR input 1. I'm going to label this NOR input 2. And therefore, we have created the complementary logic function in ladder of the OR gate. The OR gate behaves, I'm sorry, the NOR gate behaves exactly the opposite as the NOR gate, right? So whatever makes this true on the OR is going to make it false on the NOR. So let's go ahead and download. Hopefully things are making some logical sense to you. We looked at theory. I gave you another handout with a summary of logic functions and how they translate into ladder logic. You should have that. I don't have more extra copies, but oh yeah, I do have some extra copies. If anyone missed getting that, this is what I'm talking about. Truth tables and logic. If you don't have it, you can have one here.
What would happen if both contacts closed on the OR gate at the same time?
It's okay. It's one of the conditions of an OR gate, right? You can either have one or the other or both.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me have that. I have a little note on that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, you can have that. All right. Yeah. So let's test. So the NOR gate is already acting. You can see that, right? So when both of them are false, okay, so we need to run it, and input 6 becomes true. The output is still true, right? Input 7 becomes true. The output is still true because that's how it acts until both of them are true, then the output goes false, right? So that's the NOR gate. All right, moving on, then we'll do the exclusive OR gate and its complement. So you have it on your handout. It's made out of basically 4 inputs, except that it's got only two addresses. All right, so let's see if we can build that. Disconnect in here. And the closest to that is actually what we just did. And so we can just copy and paste this if we wish. Control copy and paste underneath. So I have copied over the NOR gate. I'm going to change that to call it XOR. That's the exclusive OR. And I need to add on a couple of instructions to that. Examine if close is what I want, direct contact. Bring it over here. I'm going to use input A because we already have used input 7. 8. I also need another contact for here. That's how this implemented in ladder logic. And interestingly, this is going to have the same address. We're going to see how this plays out. So I'm going to change this to 9. No, I think I got the wrong address. So anyways, let me just change it here. That's 8 and that's 9. And this will be 8. And this will be 9. I don't know if you recall, but the condition for an exclusive OR is that only when an odd number of inputs are enabled, the output is true. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish in here. No two input conditions can be the same for the NOR or the exclusive OR gate to work. So I think this is correct. I can barely see there, but I think that's what I got. Yeah. Yeah, so that should take care of it. I'm gonna download it and test it out. And you want either 8 or 9 to be true for the XOR output to be true. That's really what we're looking for. Yeah.
For whatever reason, my branch tool is not showing up.
Okay. Usual, can you give him a little hand? Maybe you can. If not, I can come. All right. So I'm going to run the exclusive OR. And the idea here again is either 8 or 9 will be true. So let's see, 8 is true. The output is true, right? 9 is true, output is true. If both of them are false, the output is false. And if both of them are true, the output is also false. So let's doing it. You have on your handout. This is basically just an implementation of what you have on your handout. Okay. The only thing I didn't do was to label the IOs, which I'm going to do here in a little bit. Okay, so disconnect. I'm going to call this the NOR out or the XOR out. Output 4. XOR out. Exclusive OR out. Input A. XOR input 1. And input 9. XOR input 2. All right, we need to create the opposite condition for the exclusive OR, which happens to be the XNOR. And so the easy thing to do here is just copy and paste that, right? Copy and paste it underneath. And a couple of little changes there. The XNOR does exactly the opposite of the XOR. And so we may just have to relocate these instructions there, like I'm doing. So that makes it easy on us. And we call this the XNOR gate. We're going to change the output to match a different output. And we definitely need to get different inputs too to make a clear distinction between the two. So let's start with the output. Output 5. This is the X node out. I think this should take care of the exclusive NOR gate, which is going to do exactly the opposite of the XOR, right? So it's looking for two even input conditions, whether true or false. Okay, I'm going to download this.